I was once a child with a dream, looking up to the stars. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship, looking down to a beautiful, beautiful Earth.
Role models are really important. I think a lot of us look to our parents and we all learn from them. And I was lucky enough to have a mother who, she wasn't a successful entrepreneur, but she was relentless in trying. I think indirectly, in running to keep up with her, I suspect quite a lot of it rubbed off on me. What does retirement mean?
Yeah, for me it means ending and closing down.
I'm joking. I mean, I just enjoy life, and the idea of going from doing what I enjoy to not doing anything at all effectively is not something that appeals to me. You know, so I love creating things, and I think I get the greatest pleasure from creating things. And I think, you know, for people, you know, they do retire from a, you know, more ordinary or more mundane job and, you know, set up their own business. I think they will get a lot more satisfaction from that than going into sort of proper retirement.
And on terms of starting up businesses, so the results have just come out in the UK that the over 50s are the fastest growing group of new entrepreneurs. And in Virgin Startups in the UK, in the last 3 years, you've supported 136 shiny new over 50 entrepreneurs. So to that group of people that are watching this, that are thinking, am I too old at 50, 60, 70 to start a business? What would you say to them?
Well, we just started a couple of our latest businesses in my 70s, so obviously my answer would be that they're certainly not too old to start over 50. And look, you got, you know, the President of America's in his 80s, so and he's pretty full on, and the person who's trying to take him down is 77. So I really don't think age is relevant. I mean, the only time that I realise that I'm not in my 20s is when I look in the mirror. Otherwise, I still think I'm in my 20s or 30s, and I just have got rid of all the mirrors in the house. As long as you keep fit and healthy, and that's the number one priority, to make sure you're as healthy as possible, then your body's not going to let you down, and you can carry on, you know, well into your 90s, maybe into your hundreds. Yeah. So the key, the absolute key is make sure you find the time for yourself, you know, to keep yourself fit and healthy, and then you can achieve pretty well anything for decades longer than you think.
So I watched in awe your documentary, and the word that hit me the most as a fellow entrepreneur is resilience. And, you know, not rebuilding your house on Necker once, but then twice, and then a third time after the hurricane, and then the setbacks that people don't see in the public around every business and the highs and the lows that come with that. We hear a lot from over 50s entrepreneurs and employees that they feel invisible and they feel sidelined. You know, for those that are trying to kind of feel resilience, what advice would you give to them?
I think you need to think, you know, what is a business? A business is coming up with some ideas to make a positive difference in other people's lives. That's all the business is. So your first thing is just to think hard about, is there a way you can make people's lives better that isn't being done very well by other people? And then, you know, just giving it a go. You can start in a really, really small way, and if it gets some traction, you can build in it. You know, but I think if you're finding you are getting down, I think, you know, equally important is to find, you know, I'm a great believer in something I call circles. So put a circle around yourself, get yourself really strong physically. If you get yourself strong physically, you can then become mentally strong. And then once you've got that circle really right, you can then go out and start businesses and do wonderful things. But you need to get yourself into a frame of mind which is then capable of then going to the next stage.
Astronaut 001, Richard Branson.
You've spent a lot of time dreaming about space. And then I obviously loved the moment seeing you last year, actually making that childhood dream come true. What's next? Where do you go from there? You know, what are your challenges you're setting for this year, this decade and beyond?
So most of my time is now spent on trying to deal with some of the issues in the world, but because I can pick up the phone and get through to most people in the world. If I see things that are going wrong in the world, I'll try to use the fact that my fame to be able to cut through bureaucracy to try to solve them, and I'm getting just as much satisfaction from that almost as starting businesses. So this week we'd been lobbying to get some shark species protected by CITES 1 globally, and I was talking to people like President Trudeau and others, and that was pulled off a couple of days ago. A couple of weeks ago we were campaigning in Singapore on the death penalty there, and anyway, so there are a lot of issues going on in the world which we're working on, and so that is now more meaningful to me than just creating more business and more businesses. Having said that, Virgin Voyages is a business that we just really relaunched because of COVID, and it's getting great traction, great reaction from people who are traveling on it. And I'll be trying to sprinkle a bit more magical dust on that company.
Do you think there's an age limit on learning new skills or hobbies, or do you think you can just keep going?
I think you can, as long as you look after yourself, you can keep going a long, long time. I mean, 2 weeks ago, climbed Mount Kenya, and interestingly, you can find time to do extreme things like that, as well as building businesses. You've got to learn the art of getting good people around you and delegating, and getting that balance in life is important.
To the next generation of dreamers, if we can do this, just imagine what you can do.